Picture this: the sizzle of burgers on the grill, the flutter of red, white, and blue flags in the summer breeze, and that familiar knot twisting in my gut as I stood there, frozen, at Grandpa Henry's 4th of July barbecue in our quiet suburb outside Denver. I'm Anna Thompson, 31. A middle school math teacher who's always preferred equations to emotions logical, predictable, no messy variables. But life isn't a textbook. And right then, as Grandpa raised his spatula and boomed, "Still cruising in that SUV I gifted you, Anna?" I opened my mouth to tell the truth, before a single word escaped. Mom, Karen Mitchell, flashed her perfect, crowd-pleasing grin and chirped, "Oh, she adores it. Dad takes it out every weekend." The lie hung in the air like smoke from the charcoal. And nobody blinked. Not Grandpa. Not my cousins. Not even my little brother Ryan, who was too busy charming the ants with his latest sales pitch. My silence? It was just assumed agreement, as always. But inside, something cracked, a quiet fracture that would build into an earthquake. That moment wasn't new. It was just the latest shadow in a lifetime spent eclipsed by Mom's spotlight. Growing up as Karen's daughter meant being the backdrop to her one-woman show. In public, she was all warmth and witty anecdotes, especially around Grandpa Henry, her father, who doted on her like she was the family glue. But behind our split-level home's closed doors, that warmth turned scorching, aimed right at me. Ryan, 2 years my junior, got the golden pass, Mom's dimpled smile mirrored in his, her excuses wrapped around his every slip-up. He was the prodigy in progress. His C-average semesters spun into learning experiences, while my straight-A report cards were dismissed with a casual. Anna's always been so self-reliant, as if my independence was a choice, not a survival tactic forged in the fires of her indifference. Take last fall, when Grandpa had his knee surgery. I was the one who rearranged my lesson plans, took unpaid leave for 5 weeks, and camped out in his spare room with its creaky twin bed. I measured out his pain meds, shuttled him to rehab appointments in the biting Colorado cold, and sat through endless reruns of his favorite westerns, laughing at the same punchlines because it made him smile. I did it out of love. He was the one adult who'd ever truly noticed me, asking about my students' quirky math problems instead of glazing over. When he was back on his feet, Mom swooped in with store-bought casseroles I'd reimbursed her for, regaling the bridge club with tales of how we tag-teamed Dad's recovery, as if my exhaustion was a shared badge of honor. The SUV was Grandpa's heartfelt thank you, a reliable Ford Escape, pre-owned but pristine, handed over with misty eyes and a gruff, "For all those dawn patrols and midnight check-ins. Kiddo, you earned this." I cherished it for exactly 52 days before a rear-end collision at a stoplight, some distracted driver on their phone. Whiplash sidelined me, and Mom helpfully stepped in to manage the insurance mess. That was the last I saw of my wheels until they mysteriously reappeared in her garage, shiny and just needing a few more tweaks. Queries about its return met with deflections. The shop found a rattle, better safe than sorry. Or, "You're still on those meds, let's not risk it." Months later, when I was cleared to drive, challenging her felt like screaming into a void. She'd woven herself so seamlessly into its ownership that I came off as the petty one. Vintage Karen Mitchell, standing there amid the potato salad and patriotic decor, watching her erase me with that effortless fib. A deep-seated rage finally stirred, not the explosive kind, but a slow-burning ember that reshaped everything. I slipped away to the bathroom, locked the door, and confronted my reflection, tired eyes, slumped shoulders, the face of someone who'd let herself fade. No more. This wasn't just about the SUV, it was a lifetime tally. Like the $7,500 she'd borrowed from my emergency fund 3 years back to bail Ryan out of his Vegas gambling debt, money that vanished like smoke. Along with his half-hearted promise to pay it back someday. Or the new furnace I'd footed for Grandpa's drafty bungalow during a brutal winter. A $2,800 hit on my modest salary. Only for Mom to claim the glory at Easter brunch, boasting about Ryan's thoughtful upgrade. Then there was the ergonomic office chair I'd splurged on for Grandpa after spotting him wincing in his ancient rocker, receipt in my name. But credit? Straight to Mom when the relatives oohed and awed. And the clincher, Ryan's flashy Jeep loan, where I'd somehow ended up as co-signer without ever touching the paperwork. Mom's forgery skills were legendary. Honed on fake sick notes back in our school days. I rinsed my face with cold water, the decision crystallizing like frost on glass. Enough. Isabella, no. Anna Thompson was done being the ghost in her own life. As I rejoined the party, Aunt Sarah caught my gaze across the lawn. She'd clashed with Mom, her sister, enough times to spot the undercurrents. She mouthed, "Speak up," but I just nodded. A public blowout would play right into Mom's victim playbook. This needed strategy. Permanence. What nobody knew was my ace in the hole. 8 months prior, my great-aunt Evelyn, Mom's estranged relative, dismissed as troublesome, had passed. We'd bonded over quiet emails after I'd thanked her for a college graduation check Mom tried to pocket. Evelyn saw the echoes of her own family scars in mine. And Herwell dropped a bombshell, $85,000 from her savings and modest home sale. With a note scribbled in shaky script, "Build the freedom they denied you." I'd kept it hush-hush, channeling it wisely, financial planners. A realtor buddy from a parents' night. I'd snagged a duplex in Washington Park. An emerging Denver spot, one unit rented to a tech startup couple, the other to Jessica, an up-and-coming podcaster who'd become a confidant. I'd also seeded a grad school fund for that long-deferred MBA in education admin. And crucially, I'd consulted Emily Carter at Carter Law Associates about the SUV saga and Ryan's forged loan. While Mom assumed I was still the compliant daughter, I'd quietly armored up. Post-barbecue, I drove back in my no-frills Subaru I'd bought outright from a Craigslist ad 4 months earlier. No family noticed my sudden mobility. 2 wrapped up in their own scripts. The following week, I staked out Mom's gig at the upscale Boulder Day Spa, where she schmoozed as front desk manager. Sure enough, my Ford Escape sat in the staff lot, sporting her personalized decal. I snapped pics, time-stamped and geotagged, then fired them to Emily. "This seals it," she said over the phone, her tone crisp. "Conversion of property, plus the insurance payouts routed to her account under your policy. We've got leverage." "What now?" I pressed, my pulse steady for once. "We filed to reclaim title and pursue damages. But family stuff like this, maybe talk it out first." "No," I cut in. Firm. Talks have been her weapon for years. "Time for consequences." She paused. "Fair. But brace for fallout. This could torch bridges." "The bridges were rigged with dynamite long ago," I replied. "I'm just lighting the fuse." In the ensuing weeks, I compiled my dossier like a detective in my own thriller, transaction logs tying my transfers to Ryan's luxury splurges, SUV title docs in black and white, Mom's evasive texts stacked chronologically. Emily verified the forgery on Ryan's loan, grounds to scrub my name clean. "The lender will chase them hard," she cautioned. Ryan's credit tanks. And they're on the hook solo. I pictured Ryan's smug grin at family dinners, parading his Jeep while I budgeted bus fares through undergrad. Understood. September loomed with Grandpa's 82nd bash. Orchestrated by Mom at the ritzy Highland Grill, over-the-top venue he'd endure for family harmony. She called. "Everyone's pitching $250 for the spread. Sell it to me." "Sweetie." I complied. knowing it'd be my final subsidy. Jessica listened over coffee in her unit as I outlined the plan. "This is explosive," she said, eyes wide. "You ready? 3 decades of vanishing acts?" "Yeah, I'm ready." She mentioned her podcast series on familial betrayal, exploding online. I could capture it discreetly. For the record, the introvert in me hesitated. But the silenced part craved irrefutable proof. "Do it. Facts only, no soap opera." She smirked. "A touch of payback. Though, maybe a smidge." As the date neared, pieces locked in, Emily fast-tracked the loan removal and SUV reclaim. With repos set for post-dinner, the bank notified Mom and Ryan, sparking frantic voicemails I ignored. Jessica and I prepped a clean slideshow scans, photos, timelines, unemotional truth bombs. The night prior, I pored over faded albums, me at 9. Edged out of Mom Ryan hugs at 17. Solo at my debate trophy ceremony because Ryan had a soccer scrimmage at 26. Flanking Grandpa at his party while Mom hugged the lens. Adjacent. Always. Tomorrow. Center stage. Highland Grill screamed faux luxury, crystal stemware. Muted jazz. I arrived fashionably late. In a sapphire dress that hugged my frame. Hair blown out. Makeup pro level. Heads turned. Grandpa beamed from the head table. "My girl, grab a seat here." Mom's facade cracked, irritation at my delay. Masked by a saccharin. Fashionably late. As usual, I countered smoothly. Wouldn't dream of missing it. Dinner dragged through predictable beats, Ryan bragging about his big deals, Mom nodding adoringly, small talk on hikes and headlines. I observed. A coiled spring. Postmates. Mom rose, clinking her flute. To Dad. "Our pillar. Our everything," she emoted. Weaving a tapestry of her selfless devotion from post-divorce struggles, glossing over Dad's alimony, to team efforts in his care. Grandpa lapped it up. Eyes soft. She rapped to claps. Dabbing theatrical tears. My cue. I stood. "I'd like to add something." Mom waved indulgently. Unsuspecting. I stepped to the projector Jessica had wired. Tapping it alive. First image. Me and Grandpa post-op. Grinning weakly. "Remember your knee surgery, Grandpa? Those 5 weeks I stayed. Helping you heal? Priceless time." He nodded warmly. Mom fidgeted. Slide 2. My bank wires for his meals. Glad to cover those. Confusion rippled. Onward. Chair receipt. Furnace invoice. The $7,500 loan trail. Forged Jeep docs. Gasps built. Finale. SUV photo at Mom's spa. Title proof. Legal reclaim notice. Grandpa. At the barbecue. You asked about the SUV. Truth? Drove it 52 days. Mom commandeered it post-crash, claiming it unsafe while using it daily. The room iced over. Grandpa's face crumpled. Karen? True. She bolted up. Spilling champagne. Outrageous. Anna's twisting facts, jealous. Always has been. I held steady. Numbers don't lie. Ryan yelped. Fake drama. She's the victim player. Aunt Sarah rose, flanking me. No. This is truth delayed. Mom scanned for backups. Found none. With a guttural cry, she fled. Ryan trailing with a venomous. You'll pay. Exhaustion hit like a wave. Grandpa clasped my hand. Voice quaking. I didn't see. Tears mutual. I know. She hid it well. The evening limped on. Aunt Sarah salvaged cake and gifts. Jessica whispered. Videos at 40K views, evidence focused. Witnesses multiplied. Morning text stormed, support mixed with outrage. Ryan spun yarns of my manipulation. But Grandpa's invite mattered. Coffee? Us only. At his porch. He confessed sleepless regret. Believed her because easier. I squeezed back. We both did. He vowed. I see you now. Sorry it took this. Fallout cascaded. SUV repoed amid spa drama. Costing mom her job after her boss viewed the viral clip. Ryan's Jeep vanished in default. Stranding him. Civil suit hit for repayments, ignored. It escalated. Family split. Enablers clung to mom's sobs of my instability, others allied quietly. Grandpa dove into therapy, inviting me to rebuild right. I claimed my duplex unit. Dove into MBA nights. Embraced solitude turned strength. Jessica's pod hit millions. Sparking abuse dialogues, I bowed out post-purpose. Months on. Mom emailed, dispute your claims. But let's settle, Ryan needs rent help amid legals. Old me? Folded. New me? Forwarded to Emily. Proceed as planned. Freedom tasted bittersweet, no more fixer role. But echoes of loss. A year later. Grandpa's low-key 83rd, simple grill out. Sans mom and Ryan. He gifted me his Aspen cabin key outright. For the trustworthy one. Protest futile, deed done. Driving home. Key heavy in pocket. I tallied, lost illusions. Gained authenticity, shed burdens. Claimed voice. Anna Thompson. 32. Teacher turned leader. Ex-pleaser. Seen daughter. When I speak now, it's mine and it echoes.